So let me minimize that. Okay. So welcome again, as Christopher said, to our Listening to Your Business webinar. This is part 2 of a 2-series webinar, and we are just excited to share with you as aspiring and existing business owners what you would need to know in your entrepreneur journey for your business. And so Christopher did send out, you should have received 2 emails, I believe. One has the participant guidebook. It should be labeled part 2 of 2, and that's a PDF file. And then we also sent you a Word document for part 2 of 2, and it should be titled Worksheets. And so those worksheets, that's where you can be able to, if you're not able to print those worksheets, then you can just do it on your computer and just fill in the information. And we are going to begin, and I just need to get there really quickly. So I apologize going through all these slides really fast. Okay. So we did finish with the assessment tool 5, where you were needing to address those questions. Where's your business today, and what challenges that you face today in order to reach to your 3-year vision. And so I want to open up the or invite you to put your comments in chat, or if you would actually, Christopher, let's just take about 5 minutes and open up the lines and just see if we have anyone who would like to take a minute to share, you know, where their business is today, and then what they see as challenges, if they would like to.
Okay, everybody's allowed to talk. Up top is Donald, then we have Catherine, Jesse, and Kate. So if you want to go in that order, you are more than welcome to unmute and speak.
This
Catherine?
is Catherine. I don't know how much I'll be able to be participating on the, I'm having some computer issues, so it might be my, it might be my Wi-Fi. So anyway, I'll do what I can, and yeah, I've got to figure this out.
Okay. Well, technology, it is something else. Which is one of those issues, that we definitely, as you looked at what challenges, when technology goes down or is hampered in any way that infringes upon your business, then what is going to be your fallback plan? Yeah.
Next up is Donald, if you wish to share. Catherine, I'm going to take your talking permission away for just a sec.
Good morning. I really don't have anything to share this morning.
Perfect. Thank you, Donald. Jesse?
We're talking about the challenges, right, that are facing us today to get to our goals in 3 years.
Right. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I think I've found that my biggest challenges that are out in front of me personally are having a location, a shop. We're going to have to build a big shop, I think, which is in part of our big plan. And then just developing the best systems and processes for bookkeeping and tracking and job costing and all that.
Okay. So, one of the things when it definitely comes to building your business, whatever process that might be, but in particular, you're looking at a physical building that you're looking at. And sometimes it's really important to do it in phases. So I have worked with several businesses where, they are wanting to, really have this elaborate building and, wanting to get it done, all at once. And sometimes it really is important to maybe not have that entire 100 by 100 foot building built at the beginning, but do it in phases. And you're still looking at overall what you're wanting to do for that large of a building. But, start with a corner of it, or maybe more like a 25 by 25 portion of it, but kind of do it in phases. Think of it that way.
I like that idea. Thank you.
You're welcome, Jesse.
Thank you, Jesse. Oops. Let's see. And Kate, if you wish to speak, go right ahead. And Kate, you're able to speak, but you're on mute. There we go.
Sorry, I was looking for that button. So, in the assessment of where I am, I am fluctuating between startup and, more stable. I have some things in one column, some things in the other column. And, I understand that that's reality, that you mentioned that we fluctuate between a lot of things. I think I'm really good in certain areas of my business in terms of the creative side. And then some of the things that I need to do, I don't have the technical skills to do. And I don't necessarily know where to go get those. So that's probably the big challenge that I have. I understand that I have to pay for certain things, but I've bought pieces of technology to solve certain problems and then they didn't, and things like that. So that's probably, for me, tech is the biggest challenge that I will face.
Yeah. That's good. Were you going to say something, Chris? Oh, I thought you were. Guess it was someone else coming on.
No, thank you, Kate. I'm going to remove your permission to talk. And Marion?
Well, before we go to Marion, Chris, I just want to address Kate, especially when it comes to, when it comes to anything dealing with your weaknesses. And that's okay. It's really important that you do identify your weaknesses and then seek resources that's out there available to actually help you build upon your weaknesses. And so, my expertise is definitely in financials and accounting. I understand that. That's great for me. But like my husband and I, we have a business, and as far as the skills, the day-to-day actually reaching out to the customers, that's what he handles. I can sit with him, sometimes and help during those sessions, but pretty much that's what he handles. But where I come in is making sure that our financials are together. And so that's a great team. So especially, when it comes to what you're facing right now, definitely any classes that may be offered. I'm not sure exactly what area of New Mexico that you're in, but there's a lot of online classes that can help you understand technology. And yes, as you said, I'm just going to confirm, you're probably going to have to hire out for that particular technology that you need. Now, having said all that, you still need to have an understanding of the technology. Worked with another client, and they actually had their business online, and they had hired someone that was I mean, basically, to me, they look like best buds. But it was an employee-employer relationship. And I still not sure exactly what happened, but they did part ways. And the employee, I should say, basically hijacked the employer's passwords and usernames, emails, addresses. So it's really important for all of you, when all of you do have your websites and you have your social media and all of that, you want to make sure that you don't turn over all of those permissions to just one person. You need to make sure that you have a handle on it. And golly, I can go on and on about that. So let's go on to Mary and Christopher.
Okay, we have Marion, and then we have Margaret. And just to recap, we're talking about challenges we face in our businesses.
Talk about the challenges you face in your business. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I think you're on twice, and that's where we have the back feed, but looks like you may have taken care of it.
Okay. The challenges I face at this point in time is reestablishing my line. I'm a circuit board artist, independently owned, self-owned. I've had to take 6 years off because I was primary caretaker for my parents. And then we had the COVID. So now it's a reestablishment. I have a website, and at this point in time, during the COVID, I lost all of the shops that were carrying my work, and the museums were also closing down. So those shows closed, all of that closed down. So in a lot of ways, I'm kind of reestablishing myself, and my sense now is that I also need to come up with merchandising and product lines that I can sell fairly quickly over like Facebook or my website, and just start like kickstarting, my whole persona, my whole person all over again. So I think part of that will be with the internet and placing my line.
Okay. Yeah. And you know what?
More obvious. No, go ahead.
Oh, no, go on. You had kind of went out, so I don't know if it's just your technology. So go on and finish. Maria.
So at this point in time, I really am like, where to from here? I am a well-established professional artist. My work is in museums, in private collections, corporate art collections. So I've been doing this for many, many years, and it's definitely one of a kind. I recycle technology, circuit boards and the like, to create iconography from my culture of origin. So that's been my whole push, and like I said, well established, but now I'm having to step back and kind of kickstart it all over again in some ways.
Yeah. So, the one thing that, as you were talking, you've done this before, and so you really know the ropes to go through. The only difference is it's just a new day. It's a different day than what you were, when you started and when you were establishing your business. So the big thing that, I can just share with you right now is that definitely don't be stuck. And it doesn't sound like you are, but I just want to say it again. Don't be stuck in, this is the way I've done it in the past, but definitely be open to new ideas. And I would, it's always easier to resell to existing clients. So I would definitely reach out to those individuals, those private clients who have your work, and just reintroduce yourself to them. And there are some marketing seminars that we do have available through the NMSBDC, and of course just visiting with our different advisors. And of course we have an advisor in where you are, and definitely reaching out to them as well so that they can help you. And this is for everyone that's on this webinar. Making sure that you do reach out to my colleagues that could help you go to the next step. So thanks, Marion, I appreciate it.
Thank
So
you.
we have Margaret up next.
Yes, Margaret, you are able to speak. You're just on mute.
Mute. Am I unmuted?
We could hear you live and well, Margaret. Go right ahead.
Good. I am live and well. Thank you.
Awesome.
However, this was quite a challenge. So I am in the growth state of conception. And that's kind of a lovely place to be, but you can stay there too long. I would like, in 3 years, I can't really grok it yet, but I want to be in a growth phase. My major challenges are insecurity about my concept, what finances I might need, organization, finding skilled help. And in the desired growth phase, I will face competition, mainstream blowback, and what my personal challenges, let's see. I wrote this on Tuesday, so let's see. I'm comfortable. In the past, I have hired people to be assistants with projects, but I haven't actually hired them as staff for the kind of thing that I'm thinking about doing. So that's new to me. I don't know really. I'm pretty good at knowing who's a scammer and who's not, and being secure with my information. But I need to sort of take on a new role and get this information into the hands of other professionals who will probably be the doubters, and into the hands of individuals who are people with problems or wanting to improve their sport or recover from an injury or things like that. And they most likely will be more open. So in a nutshell, that's kind of where I am.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you everyone for sharing. I really do appreciate it. These are the challenges, that you are definitely going to need to tease out, and the NMSBDC advisors, my colleagues, can definitely help you and to come up with resources that you'll need as well too. When we look at the importance of going through all the exercises, the assessments that we did on Tuesday, is to really bring us to this next step, and that is what type of business planning as part of our strategic plan that we need to do. So I'm going to just take a little bit of time and go over the different business plans that are available. And then we are going to have you rate And it sounds like a lot of you have probably already done some of this, and that's great. But we're going to have you rank where you see your business at today as it relates to these different plans. So the business planning tracking, it is where you are learning. You're going to do some research, and I've heard that really in everyone who actually talked about their challenges. Do some analysis and where that's going to help you develop your vision, your focus, and get to your result, that 3-year vision that you're wanting to do. So the first one is the feasibility plan. And as you see, the feasibility plan can be part of the conception as well as the startup. So that feasibility plan, definitely that is your first document required for a business in the startup phase, as well as, and I think it was Jessie had mentioned this, where she said, yeah, I remember you saying that you're going to go back and forth between the different stages. And when you are trying to bring on new products or new services, you are doing a feasibility. You are looking at, is it going to be feasible for me to bring on this new product? Is there enough people in the market that's willing to purchase this new product or this new service that will make my business profitable? And then it also, the feasibility plan also determines the risk. Is it workable, or is it really just simply not the time? And I have worked with businesses who have looked at a feasibility study, looked at the first stage of their business plan, and have decided it's not worth it, so I'm not going to do it. And I've worked with other ones who definitely, it showed that this was not going to work, but they went on ahead and did it anyway. But so that's, just to tell you a little bit more about what the Small Business Development Center does. We give you advice. So we will give you the pros and cons, but we're not making the decisions for you. You have to make those decisions. And we'll support you the best way that we can, regardless of what decision that you make. So the next on the business planning track is the business strategy plan. And you notice that it's continuously updated. And it does cross or begin somewhere between the conception and the startup. And it goes just like the other ones that we're going to talk about, all the way to innovation and decline. So your business plan articulates your concept. It talks about your opportunities, your entry strategy. I heard someone say that really not sure where to start. So this is working on the business plan is going to show you, where you need to start. It is also going to look at you as a management, your strengths and your weaknesses, your potential market, financial requirements, your growth strategy, and it includes all of the plans that are really listed here. So your business plan involves the marketing, the strategic, the operating, the financial, and the exit plan. So let's talk about the market plan, which is the next one on the business planning track. So your marketing plan is a detailed plan of how you're going to reach your market. It looks at the demographics. It looks at or validates to you the demand for your product and your service. Your competition. I heard someone talk about competition. So who's your competition out there? Do you have, who is your indirect and your direct competition? Those are important, and everybody has competition. And so never think in your mind that your product or your service is so unique that there's no one else out there that's going to do that. So let me give you an example. So with competition, let's say that you and your family want to go out and get a bite to eat. They want to get some exercise and they want to have fun. Well, they can go bowling or they can go roller skating. Both of those, bowling and roller skating rink, provides the same type of benefit, but they are actually indirect competitors because they don't provide the exact same service or same product, but they provide the same benefit. So you have your direct competition and your indirect competition. And every business has it, regardless of how unique your product or service may be. So keep that in mind. The other thing that I see with, that we see with businesses is really not looking at your pricing strategy. And that's what the business plan will do for you. The marketing plan portion of it. What is your strategy? What is your pricing strategy? And just a quick run example of this. Let's say that someone wants to purchase a pair of jeans. Well, they could, jeans pricing range from the most expensive to the least expensive. So in your business, you'll have to decide with your pricing, do you want to be the Wally Worlds of the of your community, or do you want to be the Neiman Marcus? So what is going to be your pricing strategy on the low end or on the high end? And then if you have enough people that can purchase a pair of jeans for $150, are there enough people in your market that will sustain your business, help you to make a profit? The marketing plan also outlines your product and services, how you're going to communicate and promote that to the market to achieve your sales. Definitely, because of the pandemic and even before the pandemic, I recommend, and I'm sure a lot of my colleagues would as well, that every business needs a website. You need to have another way that your clients can reach you besides the brick and mortar. You have to have that. And if you're not versed, in having a website or knowing what needs to be put into a website, again, there are training classes that are or community classes that are offered through the community college in your area. There are also through the SBDC different training programs. We do have an excellent marketing person when it comes to websites and social media that's doing training for us. And so I highly recommend that you do take advantage of those free webinars that we're offering. So marketing is important. And then you have your strategic plan. So again, all of this is still a part of the business plan. They're just different areas of it, but your strategic plan, this is your framework of where you are going to analyze the strengths and weaknesses of your business. And you're going to do this on an ongoing basis. This is where you're looking at your vision. You're looking at your mission. You're looking at your objectives and your goals that's going to guide your day-to-day operating activities. Then you have your operating plan. Your operating plan is an action document that you will use to coordinate the efforts of all phases of your business in order to achieve your 3-year, 5-year, your 6-year goal. And you're doing this, you're kind of breaking it down a little bit, really on what do you need to do this year? What do you need to do? You know, if you're looking at starting your business next month. So in August, what are the different activities, the different phases that you need to do on a daily, on a monthly basis for each of your business units to get to your goal? Okay. And this plan also helps you to keep your workflow smooth as well. So that's the operating plan. And then you have your financial plan. And I did hear someone say that, you know, what does my finances look? Where, you know, how much do I need to really get this business started? So the best advice that I would say, and we tell our clients this as well, is to start with what your costs are. So Jessie, if you don't mind me picking on you, she talked about building a building. Well, what's all going to go into that building? Well, you have your utilities. You got to remember technology. Working with this one business, and they are looking at building a building in an area that right now does not have internet access. So what is it going to take to get that internet access to their location? Because they got to have internet. So that's a cost. So just begin to look at what your costs are, what you're needing. If you're, again, with the building, if you're needing to put down a sewer line, that's a cost. That's where you're needing to start. If you are looking at supplies that you may need, maybe it's not building a building, but it is just getting the supplies together that you need to actually manufacture or produce. And I think this was Margaret, your items, your artwork. What does those costs look like? And as I said, building a website or having a website, if that's something that you can't do, then what is it going to take to hire someone to do it? And what does that look like? So that's really how I would begin when you're looking at the financial plan. Another thing that I want to mention with the financial plan is your financial statements. It's really important that you, as an entrepreneur, that you are able to understand a balance sheet, an income statement, and a cash flow report. And if those titles, those reports are just totally foreign to you, it's like, what was that? Then I highly recommend that if you can, you take the first semester of a accounting course at the college level. And you can do this for an audit. You can audit the class. It's a 4-credit class. It will be time consuming, but this will be one of those investments that will definitely pay off as you continue to grow your business or as you move into another business, because every business will need financial statements, regardless of what business you're going into. So I highly recommend that you do that. And I'm not sure if we have any mini workshops on financial statements and understanding it. We have offered those in the past, but again, a lot of my colleagues are versed in that area, and they can definitely sit down with you one-on-one as well and go over and help you to understand that as well. So the last plan on the business plan tracking is the exit plan. So as I said earlier, or on Tuesday, at any stage that we have, any of these 7 stages, you can exit out. And basically what that exit means is that you have reached the fruits of your labor, and you're ready to jet. You're ready to do something else. Or, you know, unfortunately, the business has just kind of maybe outlived you as an entrepreneur, and you're needing to sell. So whatever the reason is to exit, you do need to have a plan. So what does that look like? That's one of the questions that we do ask our clients is, how long do you want to do this business? Well, I believe it was Donald had said on Tuesday that regardless of his age, then his business, he's going to be able to do it for the rest of his life. So his exit plan, I guess, would probably be after he passes, right? But what is your exit plan? And it's really important to have that plan as well. So Christopher, I see some things in chat, and I'm not sure if you're just taking care of those, and that's cool, but do I need to pause before we start assessment tool 6?
Hey,
Okay.
Sandra, it's Adrian.
Hey.
I have a quick question for you as
Okay.
an observer. And you just mentioned Donald's business, and he can do it for the rest of his life, and his exit plan would be at his passing. Could we set him up to sell his business? Maybe bring on what is it, like a intern or an apprentice type thing, that depending on the size of your book, your client book, you may be such an asset to your community, to your area, to your clients, that you might want to set up that maybe even before you pass, set up that exit strategy to sell your business to the younger generation or to somebody in that community that can keep that legacy going.
Right. You're so right. And only because I know some inside stuff, I made that statement. But
I'm sure
are
you do.
right. You are totally correct. That can definitely happen. And you know, we see now that there are several people who are in business, and they are elderly, and they're wanting to get out, and their children aren't wanting to take over. So yes, that can definitely be part of it. To yes, sell that business. That could be the exit instead of looking at the alternative that I gave.
No, the only reason that I bring that up is I have a friend that was Cancer Centers of America, and they help the families of cancer patients as they're going through their tough time. And she just took to it so well that after her sister passed, they hired her. And because so it could even be one of your clients that just appreciates you and your business and what you've done for them, that they want to share that with others. And bingo, you got someone to sell your business to,
Right.
something like that.
And leave an estate for your children.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you can't make them do it. All right, I'll let you get on with your.
Getting the benefits of the money.
Oh,
If
yes,
you're
yes,
gone,
yes.
you can't use it.
Yes, yes. I'll let you get on with your class. You're doing an
Okay.
excellent job. Thank you.
So the other thing before we leave, well, we're not leaving the business planning track, but it's just really important that you as the entrepreneur, that you do recognize that when you're in the startup stage and you may be getting a lot of clients, a lot of customers, that you're skipping on to the growth stage, but you're not willing as the entrepreneur to give up different duties. You're still wanting to wear all of those many hats, and you it's your baby, and so you're going to keep it close to the chest. And if you do that, if you're not willing in your mind, in your actions, to move to the next step, then your business is going to outgrow you as the entrepreneur. And there are several things that can happen, but the one thing that can happen is that you're closing your business because of your failure to move, to delegate, and to bring in other people that can help your business to survive in that next stage. So with that, we're going to start with our assessment tool 6. And so if you will, and let me make sure that I bring this up. We are going to go to the worksheets. I'm going to stop sharing and then go to here. So in your Word document, and my screen is way up high, so that's why I'm looking so high up, is the Listening to Your Business Part 2 of 2 worksheets. So that's your Word document. And I failed to number these, but it will be on the 4th page. It says Assessment Tool 6, Planning for Business Success. And so what we're going to do, and I just decided to do this as a group, and sorry, I pulled my cord out of my mic. If you decide that, if you want to go on and read further and go on and start ranking this, that you can, but I want to just go on and read each of the sections. And so the purpose is really to look at what your current planning system is right now, and to be able to identify those issues that you're missing, or that you are maybe you don't need it. So there are 4 rankings, and I'm hoping that everyone can see my screen and is large enough. You can tell me if
can
it's
see your
not.
screen,
Okay.
and a little bit larger would be nice. There, that's about as big as I think you could make it.
Okay. I could probably make it bigger. But, okay. So the first column is the verbiage on rating, how you are, the description of rate of where you are right now. The 2nd through the 4th column is, and you only pick one, is that you don't have or don't need, it's under consideration, is satisfactory, or is excellent. So you just pick one that really describes, and we'll talk about the first one. So your business has a formal process to identify business opportunities, potential risk, and pitfalls. So where is your business currently today? Is it that you don't have it or don't need it? You've thought about it, so it's under consideration? Or you have a process where you can identify opportunities, risk, and pitfalls, but it's satisfactory, probably, it's average. Is that what satisfactory means? It's average or it's excellent. So select one of those columns. And I'll just give you a moment. Do we have questions in the chat that we need to address?
No, not right now.
Okay. All right. So the second one is key management team members prepare appropriate sections of the business plan. So for those of you who it's a one person run business, then you're probably going to don't need it because you don't have a management team. And let's step back here just really quick. And I was going to talk about this earlier. So your management team, even though you may not have anyone on staff right now, your non-paying management team could definitely be the SBDC. This is where we can help you prepare your business plan. And so those areas that, like financials, the financial plan where you're like, yeah, I need to take that accounting first semester accounting class. So can you help me with this? We're still going to give you some things that you'll need to do, but we can definitely take your information and build a financial projection sheet. So even though it says key management team, you can still think about the SBDC and how we can help. And some of you, those are your existing businesses. Yes, the SBDC can help you, and definitely your accountant. And you definitely want to reach out to your accountant because they can provide some information. Okay, so hopefully you've already rated that. So the third one is goals are written and systematically reviewed by yourself. Again, if you're a one-person team or key management team members. And the other part of your management team, if you're a one-person show, could be just advisors. So, and when I say advisors, I know I've been talking about SBDC, but you may have a mentor. There may be another business owner. It may be in a totally different industry, but you do have a close relationship with them where you can bounce things off of them. So this can be part of your management team. So if you'll go on and rank that. The next one, which would be the fourth one, is success factors are tracked and measured against the business plan projections. Well, if you don't already have your business plan projection, most of you are probably saying under consideration because you need some projections. Okay. All business planning documents are in place and can be easily updated. So again, rank that, don't have or don't need, under consideration, satisfactory, or excellent. The next one, the planning process reduces uncertainty and manages continuous improvement. So rank that. Okay. So now we're going to go to part 2 of the assessment tools 6. And I'll hold off for, about 30 seconds to see if anyone has questions. Weren't able to find it. This was probably, you're probably saying this was an easier ranking than everything else that we've done. Or not. Okay. So I'm going to go on, and if you need me to stop, then either raise your hand or put something in chat so that we'll know that, you know, you need a little bit more time, or you haven't found where we are, or whatever your question may be. Okay. So the next one, the next sheet is part 2 of the assessment tool. And we're going to use the same type of ranking. And I went on and numbered them this time because on this ranking sheet, we just didn't have enough room for all the different little columns. And so what we're going to do, it's going to be a little bit more in depth. And we are going to rank. Let me see if I can get this. Okay, I'm just going to make it just a little bit smaller so you can see the full sheet. Let's see. How's that, Christopher? Is that still too small?
It's small, but it looks good.
Okay, I think I could do it. How about that?
That's readable. That's a little bit more readable for me.
Okay. Okay. So when you print this out, if you print it out, it's like on a legal size paper. So hopefully your computer or your printer will allow you to print a legal size paper. So what we're going to do is in the first column, this is the type of plan. So remember, we have those 7 plans. The next column, we're going to look at the time frame. So where is your business, you know, as it relates to feasibility? Are you in the pre-business launch or when introducing new product and service lines? Then the next column is your goals. And just for the feasibility, this is where you're going to determine if your business idea is marketable and could it be profitable. Then the third column is the content. So content is executive summary, management and organization, product and service plan. And then the last column before the ranking is deliverables. So the deliverables, when I do my feasibility study, is to look at new opportunities and ideas, identify startup costs and projections, include sales projections, states what's the next step would be, and includes a timeline. So again, looking at your business currently and rank using the don't have or don't need, it's under consideration, is satisfactory or excellent. And especially some of you who said that, you know, I'm in the conception stage. You're going to rank that, yeah, this is what you need. I think that would be number 2. Got it. Under consideration. And all the other ones will be don't need right now because you're not there. Because again, we're looking at where you are currently today. So hopefully those instructions make sense. And we are going to give you, let's do about 10 minutes to work on this. And that may be too long, but you can also get up and stretch your legs or do what you need to do. And then we'll come back. So we'll hold on just for a little bit before we start the timer, Christopher, and see if there are any questions.
Sounds good. Nothing in the chat right now, nothing in the Q&A. If you want to speak, please raise your hand and I will allow you to speak. I don't see any hands up.
Okay, so we'll give them a little bit more time. So let's go on and set it. I have 10:58, so let's set the timer for 12 minutes and come back at 11:10.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, thank you, sir. Hello, are we back? That time went by fast. Oh, we have 6 minutes left. Sorry.
30-second warning.
All righty. So do we want to start back up with the recording? And actually, we're going to do questions, so I don't know if you want to do the recording. So I just want to make sure that we do have everyone back, and I guess I need to share my screen. There we go. Well, hopefully that exercise was really opened up your eyes to see some things that you'll need to work on as you move towards your strategic plan and reaching your goal. I'm sorry, and reaching your plan, your 3-year plan, your vision plan. And so I would like to, let's just, and if you could enter this in the chat, that will be great. So these questions, and the first one, and you can label it as number 1 if you want. Do you have planning systems in place? And just a yes or no into chat. But before you do that, also answer the second question. How satisfactory are those systems? So if you have planning systems in place, then, yes. And then how satisfactory, how satisfied are you with those systems? Totally satisfied, or you use your words. I'm not going to tell you what words to use. So if you all will put those in chat real quick.
We have one response from Catherine. Catherine says no.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate that.
Let's see. Jesse says, I'm working on developing systems for planning. Right now, I'm not satisfied with the lack of planning.
Okay.
And Margaret says, nothing written, not satisfactory.
All righty. Cool. I think we had one more. I think one had to leave us. So we'll give it a little bit more time. And really, when we're looking at strategic planning, the awareness is so critical. One of the things that actually our youth pastor had said, and my husband definitely grabbed a hold of that statement, and it was the 11th commandment. And the 11th commandment is, "Thou shalt not kid thyself." So I know you guys are laughing, right? I can't hear you. But that is so important when it comes to your business. I mean, don't have your blinders on. Being able to see, hey, no, I do not have a planning system in place. Go on and own it. Now, what are you going to do to take care of that? And that's what that exercise, that assessment tool 6, that's what that is really having you look at. Because as we look at what's lacking, then we can look at where the gaps are. And that was one of the exercises that you all did on yesterday. So let's go to the assessment tool 7, your business competencies. And so you're going to rate your competencies, and if you're in your guidebook, it's on pages 40 and 41. And like I said on the worksheet, I failed to number the pages, but it will be the next set of pages that are now in portrait style or layout. So I will go on and stop sharing and actually bring that up on my screen. And we can work that together. Okay, and I'm sure I need to make it a little bit bigger, right, Christopher?
That looks good.
Cool. So, and of course, you know, you all can read this, but basically, and I've said it, you know, several times when it comes to you as the owner, that you need to know your strengths and your weaknesses. And you also need to know it for your business. And really for most of you, since it's you and you don't have anyone else at this time, or maybe 2 or 3 other people, your management weaknesses could also be your business strengths and weaknesses. And that's okay. So we are going to look at those key indicators of what it takes to be successful and to rate your business, again, based on, and now we're going to use the word weak, in need of improvement, satisfactory, or excellent. And of course, any items that you score weak or needs improvement, you need to incorporate it in the tactics in step 4 that we're going to do here shortly as well. Okay, and it's okay. So be honest. Don't violate the 11th commandment. Kidding yourself. All right. Okay. So again, pretty much the same scenario. And I do want to apologize ahead of time that, you know, I don't have lines here where it could kind of read a little bit better, but it will work on your Word document, or even if you printed it out and you're just entering it. So on your entrepreneur management competency, as it relates to your leadership and your vision, you can just go up and are you weak? And you could put an X there if you are, or maybe you're like, no, I'm not really, you know, that weak. I do have, you know, a vision, and most of you, especially since you attended on Tuesday, you have a vision. So I probably wouldn't say it's weak, but maybe it just needs improvement. And so you can go and mark that. Okay. So on the next line, it will be, it will be planning. So again, looking at your business, the competency, do you plan, or do you not plan? And so then that means that you're going to fail, right? So where do you see yourself? Is it weak, needs improvement? Is it satisfactory or excellent? Communication. Are you able to communicate effectively with those of you who have employees? If you are working with your vendors, or you have Customers, are you communicating well with your customers? Are you communicating well with your lender? This could also be your, your insurance company. And with yourself. Are you communicating well to yourself? Are you motivating others? Does your business motivate others, including you? Is it motivating? Is it weak, needs improvement, satisfactory, excellent? Goal setting. It's the next one. Coaching. And again, if you don't have employees right now, there's still a level of coaching that your business can do, especially with your clients, with your customers. And then what about team building?
Sandra, before you get too far into that list, we had a question. What is peer-reviewed management style?
Peer review management style is when you have someone who is, definitely equal to your position, and you are basically reaching out to them to have them analyze you. I'm not sure where that was exactly. Do you remember? I think I remember seeing that. And I mean, wow, to use that type of to be open, to have someone who is, definitely your equal, give you, and hopefully it's constructive criticism, that you as the owner, that you're able to take it and move your business as well as yourself forward based on, what they've shared with you. Most of you probably have already gone on. So you have decision-making, delegating, problem solving, conflict management. Conflict management, wow, that's really important. Well, it's always been important, but definitely today too as well. I won't go into that. Negotiation. Are you weak, needs improvement, satisfactory, or excellent? Feedback kind of goes back to that peer review. Human resources. Again, even if you don't have employees, maybe you do have contractors. Those contractors aren't your employees, but there is a level of communication and feedback and problem solving with them as well too. And then listening. Are you a good listener? And then, of course, if you haven't already gone here, go to marketing competencies. Have you done a market analysis, market research? Do you know who your target market is? Who is your target market? Market penetration. So do you have customers that you really haven't even touched yet? Sales management, where are you? Are you weak? Need improvement, satisfactory, or excellent? Competition analysis, really know who your competitors are. How's your customer service? Do you follow up in a timely manner So if someone calls you and leaves a message, are you taking 2 days to return their call? Or they send you an email? Are you responding in a timely manner? What if they do a Google review on you? Are you responding to that review? Pricing, I talked about. Distribution. And then new product planning. So those are some highlights of marketing competency. Then we go to the financial competencies. Do you have a financial strategy in place? I mean, what is your strategy? Do you prepare an annual budget at the minimum? And then from month to month, you might need to do a budget as well too. How are you handling your cash flow? We are doing a workshop on cash is king, right, Christopher? Now that I remember that.
Yep, we sure are.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a great financial workshop. I thought we did have one, but I couldn't think of it. So I'm glad I thought about that. Financial forecasting. So not only what you're doing today, what are you going to do 12 months from now? Are you needing to purchase that piece of equipment? Or again, like Jesse is, wanting to build a larger building. How much capital do you need to raise? Well, in order to raise capital, you need to know how much you need first. You definitely want to limit going out to your investors every month where you're asking them for more money, that they're not going to have confidence in you. Establish banking relationships. And on here, I will always say, and again, I'm not sure exactly where everyone is, but don't forget your community banks. I know a lot of people, do navigate, to the national banks, but when you're looking at building a banking relationship, it's going to be a lot easier. A lot of your community banks, your local banks that are here in the area. Understanding financial documents. Talked about that already. Are you weak? Need improvement? And creating value. And this is really subjective in creating value. It's really like, what is your definition of success? Success is different for every person. And so your value, as it relates to financials, we're talking here, could be if your net profit is 5% of your sales, you're happy. And that's creating value for you. So that's kind of subjective there. Technology competencies. Computer literate. Do you know how to turn on a computer? Word processing, spreadsheet. I'm working with a individual right now who's wanting to buy a retail store. And I shared with them, they really need an inventory list because they need to know what they're purchasing. And unfortunately, that's going to be kind of hard to come by. So I was just sharing, so just go and, as you look at the inventory that is there, because the seller is going to allow them to come in, I was like, just go on and I put that on a spreadsheet. And their response is, I don't even know how to use those things. That's okay. It's a weakness, been able to identify it. There's training programs out there that can teach you how to use a spreadsheet, a database, PowerPoint, how how to know about e-commerce. Like really have already talked about this, the internet, websites, email, social media. Those are important. Legal competencies. One of the things when we're looking at legal and definitely financial, the Small Business Development Center always encourages you to seek the advice of an accountant and an attorney. And it's not that you have to have an attorney on retainer, but definitely when you're starting your business or you're moving to one growth stage to the next, you do want to be able to reach out to an attorney where they will review a lease, contracts, employee agreements. And of course, you know, once they, just a little tidbit, you know, once they review that contract, if it's something that you're going to use over and over again with, you know, maybe a different customer, they only need to review it one time for you. And you can use it over and over again. It was really, this is really interesting, just a personal experience that I had. I had some work done, and I was reading over the contract, and there were mistakes in the contract, and there was something else that just didn't make sense. And so I pointed it out to the owner. It's a one-person run business. And they said, I've been using that contract for, I think it was a considerably long time ago. And they were like, no one has ever pointed that out. I don't know if they changed the contract, but I politely, you know, marked through it and put my initials there to the correct one, and you know, they accepted it. But anyway, I just thought that that was really interesting. But contracts are important, and your contracts will change depending on your growth, because right now you may be dealing with maybe a smaller pool of customers. You know, they may be small, and but then as you grow, then your customer base may be larger companies or organizations that not only will they probably have a contract that they're wanting you to sign. So contracts are important. Human resources as it relates to both local, state, and federal regulations, and then intellectual property protection. And believe it or not, your website has some intellectual property. And we do have a one of our sister programs, and I am going to botch up the name, Christopher. So if you want to jump in, but
the Technology Commercialization Accelerator at New Mexico Tech. I'll chat over the link to their website.
Cool, thank you. So they can definitely help you with that property protection. And there are also some trainings available for that, as well as one-on-one business advising. So operational competencies, kind of already talked about systems. And not a lot of us, you know, have systems in place, but that is something that's definitely important as well too. What's your process? Inventory control. Man, inventory, for those of you who have inventory, so critical, so critical. Inventory can spoil, it can be outdated. And do you know inventory can grow legs and walk out of your place of business? Hope you guys kind of caught that, ha ha ha. That means stealing. Someone's taking your inventory. So it's really important that you have control over your inventory. Quality control too as well. And I think about our art person too as well. You know, you want, well, all of you, you want your services and your product to be of quality. And so you got to have checks and balances in place. So one of the things that we do here at our SBDC is, of course, we help people, with these various business plans and strategic plans. And one of us may be working with a client, but before we finalize that business plan, then usually everybody in our office has looked at it. And it's so important to just have another set of eyes. And that's kind of what you really need in your quality control is just really having another set of eyes, some checks and balances in place that quality's been put out there. Credit and collections. If you are not collecting money from your customers as soon as you provide the product or service to them, then you're extending them credit. You're giving them 10 days, 30 days to pay it. That's extending credit. And that has a whole nother world of policies and procedures that need to take place. Cost analysis, did talk about this on last time we met, that you do want to make sure that you have a good understanding of what things are costing you. What does it cost for your services to actually put that service on? And are you making sure that you are charging enough to cover that cost? Manufacturing, I don't believe anyone's manufacturing, but that has very important too as well. Production scheduling goes with manufacturing. Purchasing, I don't think we had a lot of businesses here on the webinar that's doing that, but that's important as well. So as you've gone through that process, and hopefully you did that with me on your sheet, we are going to now look, well, let me stop, see what time we're at. Okay. And are there any questions?
Let's look in the chat. No questions in the chat, no questions in the Q&A. If anybody wants to speak, please raise your hand and I will be happy to allow you to speak.
Okay. All righty. Cool. So we went over our strengths and our weaknesses. And from time to time, you'll definitely revisit that. Very important document that you can use to identify what you're needing to do. So there's a quote here from Gandhi, and it says that you may never know what results come of your action, but if you do nothing, there will be no results. Kind of let that soak for a little bit. Really interesting. Okay. So let's go to action step 1. And again, in your participant book, it's on page 43, but oops, hit the wrong one. On your worksheet, that will be, it's titled Step 4 Transition Tactics. And it starts, and actually, let me just bring that up so you can see it. It starts step 4, vision summary. So summary of 3 years from today. So summarize where you want your business to be in 3 years. And this is more of a paragraph form. And I can give you, let's do about 5 minutes. And you're looking back on what you did on Tuesday. And then really just kind of summarize it. And even if you just have to do maybe some bullet points, if you're, whatever you're comfortable with. Paragraph form would be better, but just summarize it here. So that's your 3 years from today. And then at the bottom of that, you'll summarize your current state of your business, where you are today. So let's take about 5 minutes, Christopher, and put the timer on.
Okie dokie. And I wanted to say, Sandra, just to get back to how vital it is to use the time to take a look into what your business is doing. I was working with a fast service restaurant, and the owner had never really peeked into the financials before. And I peeked into them and I saw that they were spending about $1,200 on spices per year at a restaurant that you might normally not spend that much on spices. So, had that person been looking over the financials a little bit more closely, or taking a look at them every quarter, they might have seen that expense.
Do you want to stop the recording? Okay. So now our last step is our action step 2. What are our tactics? What can you do this afternoon? Or at least, let's say, starting the end of this week, or maybe even next week. Okay, I'll give you that too. But what steps can you take in the next week to move you towards your 3-year goal? And let's see here. Something else I wanted to share with you before we go to this one. And this is in your guidebook, so I won't read it verbatim. What we want you to be able to do is be able to have at least one, hopefully maybe 2, but at least one, a step that is going to be doable, is based on what you've done over today, this morning, as well as Tuesday, that is going to give you that sense of accomplishment. That's in, yes, I can do this. It still may be overwhelming, so I'm not going to say that it's not. But it is still going to move you forward in reaching your 3 years goals. Okay. So I'm not sure which screen I'm sharing. So I'll unshare that. And
You were sharing the worksheets, and
okay.
I don't see any questions.
Okay, cool. So the transitional tactics.
That's right. Action step.
Okay.
Action step.
All right. Here we go. So let me make that a little bit wider and zoom in. Now, based on what we've just did with our entrepreneur management, our marketing, financial, computer technology, legal operations, I want you to pick one of those categories. And based on, again, what your vision is, where you saw that you're weak in, that you need improvement, or that it's satisfactory, but it's not excellent. Out of one of those, what can you do to make that an action step? And you may not know the cost right now. Or if you do, you can estimate the cost and definitely look at it later. And then the deadline. So the deadline isn't next week. This action step has to be completed next week. It's an action step that you can start on no later than next week. So if it's, man, I do not know about finances, or I need a handle on that, then maybe the action step would be to attend or go to the NMSBDC YouTube channel. And Chris, you tell me if it's not there, but the Cash is King workshop, and maybe view that. Or if it's, I don't have really knowledge on what I need for a website, then the action step would be, again, to attend one of those marketing webinars that we have, either live or in our on our YouTube channel. So that's what we're looking at. So try not to really kind of overthink it, because it's really based on what you have already done. So let's take about 4 minutes, kind of talk too long. And we'll set the timer, and then we'll come back at 11:55.
Sounds good. Let me share the timer.
Okay.
And I didn't see the Cash is King on our YouTube channel. It might be on demand. And if it is on demand, I'll chat that out to the group.
Okay, awesome. All righty, great. So even though we're in action step 3, I actually kind of combined that with 2 for you. I just wanted you to pull out or write down just 1 or 2 critical action steps that you can do immediately. And that really is on action step 3. But I just had you go on and do it on action step 2. However, I do encourage you to go back to action step 2 and fill out the remaining areas, that maybe you didn't do anything under operations or legal. So go back and review that and see what action steps that you need to do again to have you reach your 3-year goal. So that's really the beginning of action step 3, what you can do immediately. And just starting out with 3. I would probably recommend that you don't do more than 3. And making sure that those deadlines are, that is not going to take you 3 years to complete it. Okay, because you're going to want to come up with some other action steps that you need to take. So the other thing that's really important is to look at what insights that you have gained while we have really worked on your business. So the 4 hours, 2 today and 2 on Tuesday, you're actually working on your business and not in your business. And so what are some of those insights that you feel that you have gained as a result of that? And only because of time, we got like 2 minutes left. If you want to put something really quick in chat, that would be great. Or if not, that's cool too. But definitely take time to, like, what did I really gain? What were those insights about my business, working on my business, that are critical to my business? And then the last exercise is what resources that you have discovered in order that you would, to help you reach your goal, your strategic vision. And I know I talked a lot definitely about the SBDC and our other resource partners, but also I guarantee that you guys thought about, oh man, that's a resource that I hadn't thought about. Just by something that an action that you did as you were working through this, or maybe something Christopher or I had said, and it's like, oh, I can reach out to this mentor, or I could, so what resources that you discovered that can assist you in reaching your business goals? Okay. Most of you, I'm sure, have heard of Walt Disney, right? And Walt Disney, if you don't know some of his story, and I won't say it all, is that he had an idea, and he presented that idea to many people and got turned down many times. And one of his quotes is, actually, I don't think I'm sharing that. Stop and then share.
I'll tell you when we could see it. So
Okay.
I thought you were just going off the cuff. I was going to say, she sure knows quotes off the top of her head. Okay, we're there.
Okay. It says, he said, if you can dream it, you can do it. So I want to encourage each of you on this call right now, Catherine, Jesse, Margaret, Marion, man, you can do this. You can reach your 3-year vision strategy. You can do it. And with that, I just want to let you know that my name is Sandra Taylor Sawyer, and myself, as well as Christopher and our other colleagues with the New Mexico Small Business Development Center is here to assist you. Please feel free to reach out to us. And with that, I think we have a chat. And thank you, Margaret. Great. Perspective is important. All righty. Thank you very much. And we do encourage you to please complete the post survey. And I believe Christopher will be either, if he hasn't already, he'll be sending that out to you.